I want to believe so badly in a truth beyond our own, hidden and obscured from all but the most sensitive eyes, in the endless procession of souls, in what cannot and will not be destroyed. I want to believe we are unaware of God's eternal recompense and sadness, that we cannot see his truth, that that which is born still lives and cannot be buried in the cold earth, but only waits to be born again at God's behest, where in ancient starlight we lay in repose. A very powerful monologue from what I would consider one of the high points, if not the high point, of the entire run of The X-Files. Closure gave us, well, closure. It closed the book on one of the biggest mysteries that had driven the series for the last 7.5 years-ish by that point, which was the mystery of Samantha Mulder, the inciting incident, if you will, that made Fox who he is today. And it was such a beautiful and poignant episode that I was very surprised to find out that initial reception, for the most part, was quite negative. They felt it was a bit of a cop-out. But I felt it was beautiful. I felt it was the most amazing piece of entertainment I'd seen till that point. For those who have seen a lot of these videos, you know, I have seen more amazing things and things that have been on a par since, but it has still stayed with me. The fact that it wasn't a government conspiracy, it wasn't aliens, it wasn't a government conspiracy with the aliens, but simply a disappearance and death, which is not pleasant on its own, of course, but it's not a clandestine organisation orchestrating it. It was a thing that happened. And Mulder choking back tears at the end, saying, you know, that he's free. He actually feels good about this, I think was strange to me at first. It was like, well, this was your driving force, but I guess it gave him the freedom to explore things without that hanging over his head. And like I say, this was a high point of the entire run of The X-Files to me. Whilst, you know, there were great episodes like Jose Chung from Outer Space, Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose, The Ghost Who Stole Christmas, you know, all of these happened before this point, and a lot of, you know, most of the ones I've chosen there were weird episodes. But I think that says a lot. I can barely name 5 episodes since that point, not counting the most recent 2 seasons. And remembering the fine points of what happened is a difficult task at best. And that is why I'm very sorry to say that we perhaps didn't need 10 and 11 seasons at all of The X-Files. Did we even need 8 and 9? Probably not, if you follow my logic. But there has been good since it's come back, you know, and obviously there were some good in the last couple of seasons of its initial run. Nothing is terrible all the time, but I can count on one hand the episodes that I've enjoyed in the last couple of seasons, and like Gillian Anderson, I'm kind of out at this point. I think it's run its course. You know, we've killed off Skinner, we've killed off the cigarette-smoking man again, so who knows. We kind of killed off William, but as we saw, you know, he is, you know, surviving, which is the only one that is totally believable of people coming back in the series so far, because he has got that sort of hybridized DNA. But I really think that, you know, there was a lot of just treading water in these last couple of years. And I don't like to say that about something that basically formed a lot of my personality growing up, part of my interests, my love of the supernatural, the paranormal, UFOs, aliens, ghosts, weird, freaky monsters, you know, cryptozoology. A lot of that was, if not instilled in me by The X-Files, certainly nourished by The X-Files. So it has been a part of me growing up. And I've no shame to admit that, you know, Gillian Anderson was a growing up boy crush kind of thing that I did have. So, you know, like many of an age that I was at the time that it was being aired, and older, I'm sure. So it does pain me to say that I really didn't get as much out of the last couple of years that I wanted to. It's quite telling that Spotnitz wasn't around. You know, some believe he was a controlling force for Carter. Maybe so. Maybe this is why we got some very strange decisions being made. But Morgan and Wong seem to have been trying to do that job, and maybe they did make it less weird. Although there were beautiful, weird moments. Babylon was a great episode to me, just for the psilocybin-inspired dancing, rodeo, etc. Moments of Fox Mulder's character there. And, you know, Ghoulie was an interesting episode, even though it wasn't like a weird one. Just the ideas in there, you know, of this illusion creating that William does to escape. It was a mythology one that actually worked for me. And, of course, you know, the terrifying vampiric penultimate episode, which was an interesting take on it. I mean, it's not something they've never touched on before. Even in the first season, we had a vampire-themed episode. But how they did it this time, and tying that in with the fact that, you know, David and Gillian are not getting any younger. Neither's Mitch, of course, you know, and William B. Davis is certainly looking his age. Much as I don't like to say that, you know, it sounds awful, but you can tell he's not a young man. And all these people are getting older, so having that episode more about the staying young or returning to youth side of the vampiric mythology, if you will, was a very sort of on the nose, I suppose, if I'm being honest, but I enjoyed it, even despite of that, you know, even in spite of it. And like I said, there were good elements, but I think we've got the closure we need now. If people felt like, oh, we should bring it back because we didn't know fully, you know, what happened with William, what's happened in the intervening years, kind of like Twin Peaks: The Return, you know, people are like, what happened after, because we had, you know, evil Cooper taking over and Dale in the lodge, etc. So, like with that, I think it's done. That last season of Twin Peaks was weird and amazing and beautiful at times. I do have a video of my particular favourite, episode 8, which you can watch here. But I don't think we need more. Whilst it has left it open-ended, I think that's Lynch going, look, I'm going to keep doing this. If you keep asking for more, I'm going to leave it open. I'm not going to give you all the answers. And I love him for it. But with the X-Files, I think we have got closure. We've got the answers. We've got everything we need. Like I said at the top, we've kind of had that for about 4 seasons. I really do think closure was the high point, emotionally. And I wanted to love this. It's why I watched last season and went, okay. I mean, I haven't even touched on one of the biggest issues, I think, with this season, actually. The end of season 10 was, oh no, they're going to come and, you know, take over the world or whatever. And it was just a vision. It was a potential future. That's the "and then I woke up" of storytelling. Although "and then I woke up" is also the "and then I woke up" of storytelling. But you get what I'm saying. It was a similar idea. It was just a vision. It's not real. It does cheapen it. And the fact that they were starting on such a bad footing should have been a warning. So like I say, I wanted to love this, but I think the X-Files is done now. Like Gillian, I'm out. And I really hope that it doesn't limp on. I know Chris Carter said, I'll do it without Gillian. That's up to you, but I don't think I'm likely to watch it. So this week I did put off the thing that I've been putting off for years, and next week I've got something super special, a rarity for me. I won't go into too much detail. So in a fortnight time, which gives me more time to prepare, I will have the thing that I promised, that I've been putting off for so long. But it needs doing. And it'll get it off my chest. I'll finally be able to shelve it and move on with my life. So I hope to join me next week and the week after for that weird thing. But until then, as always, take care.